Many people have begun to think that kids have too much homework. However, I disagree. We have the right amount of homework. We have the right amount because having some homework is important. If we didn't have homework, we wouldn't understand the lesson we were taught in class as well. And although you may not like it, it's important for you to learn and understand. We have the right amount of homework because homework is an important way to reinforce what we have learned. For example, a good way to tell if you have the right amount of homework is to think about your grade level and times that number by 10. For example, a good amount of homework for first graders is 10 minutes a night because of the number of their grade, which is 1 times 10 minutes equals 10 minutes. The same method works well for other grade levels too, like second grade, 20 minutes, third grade, 30 minutes, or fourth grade, 40 minutes. We have the right amount of homework because homework is important. It's important because if you listen to the lesson in class and ask questions to make sure that you completely understood what is being taught, then you should have no trouble with the homework. So what is there to complain about? Most kids in my class will complain that we get too much homework. One person that I know doesn't do his homework some of the time. Advantages of homework. You don't have to wait for everybody in the class to do everything, whereas if you have homework, you can do it at your own speed. You can practice what you learn or practice the skills that you learn inside of school that day. You don't have to stay in school long enough for the teacher to go over every single thing. It should take 2 or 3 times as long as if you had homework on the subject. These reasons list some of the advantages of homework. These reasons also bring up some good points, like if a teacher is going at a pace either too slow or too fast for you, you can do it at home. We have the right amount of homework because if we didn't have it, then we wouldn't have the level of understanding of the subject teachers expect us to have. If we didn't completely understand an old bit of subject matter and we just move on, then on a test or quiz later, we might not get the questions right just because we moved on too quickly and some kids didn't learn it very well. When you learn something and don't back it up with homework to ensure that you learned it completely, it will come back to bite you later. It could be on a test or a quiz. We have the right amount of homework because if we didn't have the same understanding that we would with homework as if we did have it. In addition, during math class, the day after a test, Mrs. Brown had finished grading the tests and told us that some kids, the kids who understand the lessons, generally did better on the test, and the kids who didn't do very well were mostly kids that, based on their shown work, didn't study or prepare as much as they should have. We have to have homework so that we can understand what we are doing in class better. If we didn't understand, then there will be problems in the future because the same topic you miss will keep popping up, and you might think, oh, one thing I don't understand, that isn't a big deal, but it is. We have the right amount of homework. We have the right amount because having some homework is important. If we didn't have homework, we wouldn't understand the lesson we were taught in class as well. Though you may not like it, it's important for you to learn and understand. In my class, a teacher was checking homework, and it was a whole class affair, meaning that everyone in the class has to listen and be quiet. Anyway, the teacher was checking it, and a whole bunch of kids in the class had not gotten it done. This was an assignment where we had the whole class time and the weekend to do it. Some of them were trying to make it up in class while we were working on something else. We have the right amount of homework because it is important for you to learn and understand what you are taught. This is important because if you do understand everything, then you will grow up and get a good job. And if you do not, you'll have a hard and miserable time in school. No one likes homework. Doing it is important for correctly learning what you need to have a good future. Effect on grades of amount of homework assigned, no signature relationship. Effect on grades of amount of homework done, positive relationship. There seems to be substantial change in grades when people did their homework compared to not doing it. We have the right amount of homework because it's important for you to learn and understand. This is similar to the fact that people who do not do their homework, then they don't do as well. Whereas if we did, then it would be easier to understand and people would understand it more. Finally, if we didn't have it, people wouldn't have the pressure of doing homework. But then the whole grade would be based on tests, and if you didn't do well on one, you would be in bad shape. I used to think that we had too much homework, but I now realize that if we had too little or too much, then kids couldn't learn as well as they do. Because if we had too much, some kids wouldn't be able to get it done in time. And if we had too little, then kids wouldn't be able to get the practice that they need or have any responsibility about turning in homework. This would show that some kids either need homework but don't want it, or want homework but would work and get good grades anyway. Some kids want it and some kids don't. But overall, I think that we need it in schools so that kids don't fall behind in their classes because of lack of practice. We do have the right amount of homework.